like, comment, and subscribe for more content.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm Robbie D from Funko Pop Monthly.
And in today's edition, we got so much good things happening on the podcast. We're talking about WonderCon exclusives. We got what would be, as we record this, today's Funko Shop drop. And we have the top 10 Funko Pops list for March 2020. But before that happens, we're going to kick off with the segment that I had debuted last podcast titled Coronaviral News. Now, for those that don't know, Coronaviral News is basically a segment where I talk about the latest news involving the COVID-19 pandemic that's been going on. So, starting off, we got announcements for Thursday, March 19th, which China reports that there were no new cases of COVID-19 since it started on that day. EB Games had announced that they will only open the store the next day on the 20th to customers who had pre-ordered the game Doom and or Animal Crossing. GameStop have announced that all stores across the United States have reduced their hours from noon to 8 p.m. And Funko themselves has announced that they will be closing both their HQ and Hollywood stores. Friday, March the 20th, Niagara Falls Comic-Con had announced their postponed dates from originally it was the beginning of June to now September 11th to the 13th. EB Games would later announce they will be closing all stores until further notice of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the United States has been reported to have over 21,000 cases of COVID-19. Saturday, March 21st, K-Dog and Fish, very great store, had announced that they would be closing their store until further notice, but they still continue to have online orders, and you can message them about any pops that are like in store to add to your online order. And it was confirmed that there have been 300,000 cases confirmed worldwide of COVID-19. Sunday, March 22nd, it had been announced that Canadian athletes would not compete in the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. It's been reported that the United States of America had become one of the top 3 most infected countries, behind Italy at number 2 and China at number 1. And it was announced that drive test centers across Ontario, Canada would be closing. Monday, March 23rd, it was officially announced that the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan would be postponed until 2021. Doug Ford, who is the premier in Ontario, Canada, announced that all non-essential businesses will close for 14 days as of Tuesday, March 24th at 11:59 p.m. Then, Tuesday, March 24th, it was confirmed that 400,000 cases confirmed worldwide for COVID-19, and India has ordered a 3-week nationwide lockdown. And as we record this today, Wednesday, March 25th, Prince Charles had been diagnosed with COVID-19. Some crazy news this week.
Yeah, we wish everyone well and hope they get well soon for those that have been tested positive for COVID-19. And also, it's getting real scary with this whole pandemic.
So now we're going to move on to the Funko Pop announcements for this week. Starting off, you'll see 6 pops on your screen. 5 of them are WonderCon exclusive Funko Pops. And the other one is obviously the Funko Shop drop of the day for March 25th as we record this podcast. So starting off first to kick off the WonderCon exclusive pops. Yes, like usual, we will only talk about the pops and not anything else like the Funko sodas or the apron that was announced. But the first announcement for the WonderCon exclusive pops came from the Disney lineup, which we have Miguel with guitar from the movie Coco, which this pop will be, obviously, they are all WonderCon exclusives, but due to the fact that also the event has been postponed until further notice, it will not happen during its usual weekend of April 10th to April 12th, but everything will be moved online as a part of Funko's second ever virtual con, which those are expected to hit up the Funko shop Friday, April 10th, but like I was saying, Miguel is scheduled to be shared with Box Lunch, while the Cheshire Cat Pop Rides from the Alice in Wonderland Mad at the Tea Party, or whatever it's called, that on the app has been listed just as WonderCon, but I think it's been confirmed now that it will be going to the Funko shop. I'm going to assume that originally this was set for just the con itself and that is going to be a limited amount of pieces, but now that Virtual Con is happening, it's just going to be shared to the Funko shop. So I'm a little curious about whether it's still going to be a limited amount when you go in the Funko shop and try to order this. Then from the Star Wars section, we have a red and black Future of Boba Fett, which this one is going to be shared with Target. From the Pokemon lineup, we have flocked variants of Pichu and Eevee, which Pichu is going to be shared with FYE, while the Eevee is going to be shared with Hot Topic. Then we got ourselves here Captain Atom from the DC Comics lineup, which originally, when this was first announced and was first posted on the Funko app, it was originally scheduled to be an EB Games / GameStop shared exclusive. However, it has since been changed to Amazon that it will be shared to now, assuming because also EB Games has announced their closure and GameStop I think soon is going to announce the closure. I think even right now they've announced all closures to the California stores of GameStop at the moment. So it's only a matter of time. Could be as this podcast gets released, GameStop could be actually like completely closed. So, but then the last of the WonderCon exclusives we have here, we have two versions of the Good Luck Trolls, which one of them is Blue Troll and the other is Pink Troll, but this time instead of just a normal body, they both have the rainbow bodies, which you would have seen if you had the chase of the 10-inch Good Luck Troll. And then last but not least, the last pop we'll talk about for today before we move on to our top 10 Funko Pops of March 2020. We have a Funko Shop exclusive, which as we record this, should be released within the next 45 minutes, is a 10-inch variant of Indiana Jones, but all gold. And like I said, expected to be released today as we record this, which is March 25th at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST on the Funko Shop. Which then I should also mention that if you're planning to order the con exclusives, I'm more than certain, just like every other con, that all of the exclusives are expected to hit up the shop at 7 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. EST. So starting off with the Disney Pops, so Miguel with guitar, that's pretty cool. I feel like I've heard that there's been a different Miguel with guitar, it's just a different guitar, but this could be the first one. I don't exactly know. I don't really pay attention to the Coco lineup. Have seen the movie though. Pretty good movie, a little bit of a tearjerker near the end, but this pop is pretty detailed for what it is. I probably won't plan on getting it, not because it's in Box Lunch and there's no Box Lunch in Canada, but I don't collect any of the Coco Pops. If it was Toy Story, complete different story. I'd probably get it for sure. And then the Cheshire Cat, people are hyping huge for this pop, like unbelievable amount of hype for the Cheshire Cat pop rides. There was the Alice pop rides that went along with the Mad Tea Party theme, and that was a Disney Parks exclusive. And now we have this Cheshire Cat, which I like better because due to the fact that it's not a human and that it's obviously a cat, you're able to somehow put some sort of expression on the face and you add a smile and everything. And just overall, Disney as a whole for the Funko lineup is just popping, making it rain with cash. And it's a very great looking pop. The Future of Boba Fett, that is red with the black logos instead of the other way around that you've seen for ECCC. I actually like this one better than the ECCC one, just because I feel when you look at the black one, so with the red one, you can actually notice in the picture that like some of the detail, like for example, the boots and kind of like his forearm and even the gun and the part of the inside of his mask has been more darker red so you can see the detail. While in the black, you can kind of see it, but only when up close. Like if you were to see the pop of the ECCC version far away, you would just notice black because black is such a obviously dark shade that you wouldn't be able to really see detail from far away. But when you look up close, you can see kind of there's a bit of a darker black than the lighter black that's on like the helmet and everywhere else. That isn't what I just mentioned about the red one, but from far away, you could probably see like the different shades of red with this one, which is what I like about it. However, there is some bad hype because why aren't they making other Star Wars pops? Why do they keep continuing with, this is now the, I think, 4th or 5th Future of Boba Fett in which we have 10-inch variants, 2 of them, and we have 3 4-inch ones. So we got this one, the black Emerald City Comic Con one, and there's another Future of Boba Fett that, like, I can't even describe. It almost looks like if you were playing paintball and, like, you use different colors and, like, there's splatters like that. That's kind of what it looks like in the best of how I can describe what it looks like. But overall, I think this pop looks cool. I could potentially get this because this is rumored to actually hit up Toys R Us here in Canada as one of the pops that will be shared to. But maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll not. I still have yet to think about it. Flocked Pokemon pop. Like I said in Wednesday's video, which you would have seen, which is the Cop Up or Pass Up episode, finally, Funko has made more Pokemon pops that make sense to be flocked. Pichu is the pre-evolution to Pikachu, and that was already flocked with the GameStop box. Makes sense to make it flocked here. And flocked Eevee, people are super pumped about this. I'm a little pumped about this. I don't think I'm going to get any of these. I'm like very specific when it comes to some of the characters from different series like Pokemon. But for you, you'll probably get both of these because you're looking to get the full 4-inch collection, at least for Pokemon. And Flocked Eevee, I felt like while looking at the Facebook comments, more people liked the Eevee than the Pichu. And then when looking through the Instagram, it was more Pichu than Eevee. So it's almost like a half and half kind of reaction to both of these. But if you're a huge Pokemon fan, regardless, you're probably going to get both of these. And I'm excited that even Eevee is going to Hot Topic. Captain Atom. This has a little bit of good hype and bad hype because not a lot of people knew who Captain Atom was. But for the people that did know who Captain Atom was, they were excited because we're getting more characters other than the usual Batman, Robin, I almost said Captain America, but that's Marvel, Superman, Joker. Like, those are the main 4 that get made abundance of for DC Pops. And to see a new character, especially one that no one really knows about, is pretty cool. I like the red eyes. I like how it's kind of looks very metallic-y in the glam shot. I don't know how it's going to turn out in real life if I see this at a Comic-Con, but I'm excited to see what it looks like, though. And then the Good Luck Trolls. Once again, like I pointed out in the Cop Up or Pass Up video, I don't like the way that the blue hair looks on the rainbow body. In which I just realized, I forgot to mention that the Good Luck Trolls, so the blue-haired one is being shared to the Funko shop. The pink-haired one is being shared to Barnes & Noble. Like I was saying, I don't like the way that the blue hair looks on this rainbow body, but I like the way that the pink hair does on the rainbow body. And I'm saying that because with the blue, you can kind of see a shading of blue within the rainbow body. But when you look at the pink, there's no shade of pink in the rainbow, so it's kind of like it blends in with the rainbow. I mean, I'm probably not going to get any of these pops, in my opinion, just because I don't really like the Trolls lineup. The only troll I would get is if they made the spot-on Good Luck Troll that you've seen in the Toy Story movies, which I was very close to getting the pink troll because that's exactly what it was. It had pink hair, but the body was a little bit different. I'm like, no, I can't get that. But I know that probably Top Ops and his mom are probably going to get these two, especially from the Funko shop. Then we got the gold 10-inch Indiana Jones. I don't really like how this 10-inch is gold. However, I can see why they made it gold because the idol is already gold. So it's just like, all right, make the whole thing gold. I feel like, though, this could sell out, but this might not sell out just for the fact that it's gold. But people could buy this to complete their 10-inch. And like I said, probably think last week or the week before that, there's going to be only 2,000 people technically in the world who could potentially have a chance to having a complete 10-inch collection. And Indiana Jones is actually a rare set to get. And it seems like every time an Indiana Jones pop has been made, it's been an exclusive to like Disney parks, Funko shop, or a limited amount of pieces at a con, like we've seen with the Emerald City Comic Con metallic one. But other than that, I don't plan on ever getting this. Not because I don't like Indiana Jones. I like Indiana Jones. He's cool. I'm just not a fan of the whole gold thing. I feel like if I'm going to get a 10-inch pop, it's not going to be this.
Miguel with guitar. This pop is alright. Definitely captures the concept with Miguel playing the guitar. And then we have the Cheshire Cat at Mad Tea Party, which I absolutely love. I definitely gave a lot of hype to this because Alice in Wonderland and this character, specifically the Cheshire Cat, one of my favorites. It's a good movie, and I'm glad that they added this pop ride to go along with the original one that you said, the Alice in the Teacup as well. Moving on to the red and black Future of Boba Fett. This looks very detailed and I definitely like it. And if I had the chance to get it, if I ever started collecting Star Wars pops, this would be one of those ones that I would pick up for sure. Then we have the flock Pokemon ones. We have Pichu and Eevee. I definitely agree that Eevee is one of those Pokemon that definitely should be flocked, if ever. And Pichu, definitely, I agree as well, especially it being in the same evolution line, I guess. This would make sense as well, because, like you said earlier, the Pikachu from the collector's box is flocked, and now they have flocked Pichu. Pichu is a cute Pokemon, and I'm glad that this was one of the announcements for WonderCon. Moving on to Captain Atom. Again, not really up to date on most of like the superheroes and villains besides like the main ones that Batman, Superman, Robin, Joker, all that. Captain Atom looks cool. I do like the shade of, I guess, silver, or yeah, I guess you could call it that. The red eyes, I guess one of the gloves are red, or probably both. And then the boots look like they're blue. And then, of course, the red little marking in the middle of his body for his, I guess, costume, so to speak. That looks all cool. Would this be a pop that I pick up? Probably not, but I do agree that it is a cool looking pop. And then the Good Luck Trolls. I do have to agree with you with the pink-haired troll looking better, especially with, like you said, the blue one. There's already a shade of blue on the troll, so it kind of throws it off with the detail a little bit, but other than that, I won't be picking these up, and I don't think I will ever be collecting the Good Luck Trolls line. And then finally, for the 10-inch Indiana Jones, the all-gold Indiana Jones. I don't understand. I mean, yes, I guess it makes sense because, like you said, the idol is already gold. So to make this one, it makes sense, I guess. And then the fact that this comes after, I believe, ECCC had the metallic 10-inch Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It makes sense, I guess. I won't be getting this, and it's like you said, Indiana Jones is cool, just don't think I'll be collecting any 10-inch pops or even Indiana Jones pops for that matter.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the top 10 Funko Pops list for the month of March 2020. For those that are brand new, we also have a newer segment called The Update, which will happen next week, in which basically whenever we do a top 10 list, most of the time it's not at the end of the month that we do this. There's still like probably 3 or 4 days left of March that there could be announcements. So when the update happens, it means that we basically have a chance to update our top 10 list by adding pops that we didn't get to talk about during the podcast you are listening to right now for the top 10 list. With MD not being here at this moment, I did ask MD to come up with a top 10 list and that I would announce them for him on the podcast. So I'm going to do it like the tradition here on a Funko podcast and start with MD Shady's top 10 list. And then it will go to Robbie D from Funko Pop Monthly. And then it will always end with my top 10 list. So starting off with MD Shady's number 10, which is the Funko Shop exclusive Happy Gilmore with hockey stick, which I totally understand that this made MD Shady's list. It's such a cool pop, and I think he basically sees what I see and how we've been waiting for a Happy Gilmore with a hockey stick, and I'm not surprised this made his top 10 list.
Starting off with number 10 for myself, I also went with the Happy Gilmore pop. Again, this looks pretty cool in my opinion, and it had to make my top 10 list.
My number 10 on my list, from the Pop Rocks lineup, it is Shawn Mendes. It almost left the list just because of how bad hype there was with this. But there is some good hype because there are some Shawn Mendes fans out there. And there is quite a bit of detail on such a simplistic human pop. So it's understandable that that just made it. But because of the bad hype, that's why it did not reach any higher than 10. All right, so now we're going to move on to number 9. Which on MD Shady's list we got going on here. Number 9 on MD Shady's list is the Funko Shop exclusive Trader Grimm. Understandable that this made MD Shady's list because MD Shady is a big fan of the fantastic plastic or spastic plastic, whatever they want to call it nowadays, of pops. And of course, he would pick a fantastic plastic pop. And this one is very detailed.
Alright, my number 9 It was definitely difficult to come up with a top 10 list, but I'm going to go with the Billy Madison pop that was also announced with the Happy Gilmore, so that would be the Funko Shop exclusive, I believe.
Yeah, with the white sweater.
Yes. This definitely personifies Billy Madison, and I love the movie. Had to make it into my top 10 list for sure.
All right, so number 9 on my list is the Amazon exclusive Hawkeye Pop Deluxe for the Avengers Assemble set. I definitely think this had way more hype than the Shawn Mendes pop. People love the Avengers, especially Endgame coming out last year and becoming essentially now the highest grossing movie in history. It's at number 9 because Hawkeye, like I said last week, is kind of a lackluster character, but the detail involving the ground and how there's been bricks that have fallen off from buildings and there's little bit of a patch of fire and like the little underground tubes that they added for that detail makes up for that whole thing. But I don't think it's higher than any of the ones I'm going to mention next. So yeah, that's number 9. We're going to move on now to number 8, which for MD Shady's list is going to be the first, what I like to call crossover of the podcast. And his number 8 is the Shawn Mendes pop from the Pop Rocks lineup. I don't really have to explain much on how I probably think of why he put this on his list, but I'm more than certain like it's probably the same reasons as I said.
Alright, so my number 8, it's the Future of Boba Fett, and it's self-explanatory. The detail in this alone made this higher than, of course, the Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore pops, and like I said earlier in the podcast, this would be one that I would definitely pick up if I started collecting Star Wars pops.
So number 8 on my list, from the Schitt's Creek lineup, it is Johnny Rose. Johnny is one of my favorite characters, primarily because it's played by Eugene Levy, and they executed the head sculpt great. It looks just like the actor. They pulled off the bushy eyebrows, which, like I said last week, I was afraid that they weren't going to do, but they did. And the only thing that doesn't make it higher is the fact that, like, Johnny just has a simplistic outfit, and, I mean, you couldn't add any more detail to it because he's always wearing suits. Now on to what would be MD Shady's number 7, which is the Hot Topic exclusive Jiraiya on Toad Pop Rides from the Naruto lineup, in which is kind of unexpected to be on MD Shady's list, a Naruto pop, but I can see it maybe because of the Toad itself, for just a random reason of why I think MD would have put this on the list. I could be wrong, maybe he did like the character too, but I think it was mainly because of the Toad.
So my number 7 is the Funko Shop exclusive for March 17th, which happened to be my birthday. It is Finley the Fox for Ireland and the Pop Around the World lineup. This is very detailed. Finley's dressed up as a leprechaun. He's holding a clover in his hand. The hat, the belt, everything about him is very detailed. More detailed, in my opinion, than the Boba Fett, and it had to make my top 10 list.
All right, number 7 on my list is from a series that I feel like there should be at least one pop on my top 10 list, or else there's going to be a little bit of a riot. And that is Hisoka from the Hunter x Hunter series. Now, I've never seen Hunter x Hunter before. It actually was a suggestion on Netflix, so maybe I will watch it in the future because it's on Netflix at the moment. But I chose Hisoka specifically because it was the most hyped out of all the characters that were announced for the Hunter x Hunter lineup. I think it's got a crazy amount of detail too, especially it's got like the whole energy thing and then with like the cards and then like the 2 different colored, I would say a face paint, or like it has like a teardrop on one eye and like a star below the other. I can't remember exactly what it looks like with those details, but it had quite a bit of detail and I think it's a very cool pop itself. Moving on now to number 6. We're close to ending the bottom half of this list, which for MD Shady's sake, his number 6, which I'm surprised that it is not higher than what it is the Amazon exclusive Battle at Echo Base Wampa Pop Deluxe. Which, like I said, I'm surprised this isn't higher than what it is. I felt like MD would have put this in like his top 3, considering it has a crazy amount of detail. Everyone was super hyped over it.
My number 6 is actually DK Wrestler's number 8, which is Johnny Rose from Schitt's Creek. Again, Dylan pretty much summed it up with the fact that it looks like the actor Eugene Levy, so...
My number 6 for my top 10 list is another pop from the Schitt's Creek lineup, and that is David Rose, and I chose the common David Rose just because I look at the Chase one and like, yeah, that one's cool, but I feel like looking at the normal one is more like David. You can see more of his face. You can actually see his fancy hairstyle within that pop. And a lot of people mentioned about David and how they love the pop, so there's hype to it. There's quite a bit of detail, but it doesn't make it into the top 5 just because I simply think there is way more hype within the next 5 that I'm going to mention, quite a bit of detail also, and more of a personal reaction. Even though MD Shady's not here, and I usually do this with him, I think he would want the show to go on by hitting the music of Booker T's theme song. Can you dig it, sucker? That's right. I gotta start off with MD Shady's top 5. Usually I was expecting to say, all right, MD, it's your top 5 now, but I gotta say it for him. So, number 5 on MD Shady's list is the WonderCon / Funko Shop shared exclusive Cheshire Cat Pop Rides. I totally understand why he would add this to his top 10 list. Very detailed, like I said earlier, and could be a pop that actually, even though I don't know if MD's a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland, but I feel like it would be one of those pops that like he would buy because it's such a cool looking piece.
My number 5 is also the Cheshire Cat at the Mad Tea Party. Very detailed, and I absolutely love this pop.
My number 5, it is the WonderCon / FYE shared exclusive Flocked Pichu. Now, Pokemon is a huge top-selling lineup, and I truly think that this deserves to be on a top 10 list. It's got quite a bit of color, it's got quite a bit of detail, and especially making this pop flocked makes sense. And that's essentially why it's even in the top 5. Pokemon's a huge lineup, but it's only at number 5 because it's probably the least of my own personal reaction, I should say. So that's why it's at number 5. All right, so now we are number 4, which on MD Shady's list, it is the WonderCon / Hot Topic shared exclusive Flocked Eevee from the Pokemon lineup. Now, I already kind of figured that Eevee would make his top 10 list, more specifically in the top 5. Wasn't sure where he was going to place this pop on the list, but I knew it had to be in the top 5 of his top 10 list if I was going to predict his lineup.
Well, you can see by the grin on my face that I also picked the Flocked Eevee for my number 4. There's been a few pops in this lineup, or in this top 10 list, that have been the same with MD. Again, totally agreeable with the fact that this makes sense to be a flock pop, and the fact that it has to be in, or at least it should be in anyone's top 10 list for sure.
My number 4 is one last pop from the Schitt's Creek lineup, and it's Alexis Rose. Alexis, in my opinion, has all of the 3 categories I look for in a top 10 list. It has the hype because of the amount of, ew, David, comments in the post from Instagram and Facebook. It's got personal reaction because Alexis is probably my favorite character. The detail is fantastic. The dress is fantastic with the detail. They made the hair spot on to the actress's hair, and even the outfit is a perfect outfit for Alexis. And yeah, that's why it made it number 4 on my list. Now we're going to the top 3. For MD Shady's number 3 list, MD had chosen a Schitt's Creek pop, and it is David Rose, but it's the Chase pop and not the common pop. I totally understand that he would choose the Chase over the common for this list if he were to choose a David pop because the Chase is very good. Like, it is a good chase. It's better than so many chases that have been made, not only this year, including that Trolls chase that just, cringeworthy still in my mind, even though that was announced in January. Schitt's Creek is a great show, and it's understandable that it even made his top 3.
My number 3 is also the 1 in 6 chase, David Rose. Again, MD and I both have picked the same for our number 3. Honestly, you've pretty much summed it up as to why David Rose, and specifically this variant of David Rose, made it higher on the list.
Yeah, now I'm realizing it's like, I think you had the same number 5, the same number 4, and the same number 3 as MD, if I'm not mistaken. You said Cheshire Cat for number 5?
Yep.
You said Flocked Evie for number 4?
Yep.
And now the one is 6 David Chase for number 3?
Yeah.
Are we going to have the top 5 the same for both of you? Who knows? Anyways, let's move on to my number 3, which is a crossover between all of us. It's a pop that's been on all 3 of our lists, and that is the WonderCon / Hot Topic shared exclusive Flocked Evie. Flocked Evie, fantastic. It's a fantastic character to be flocked. I think everyone's going to want to get a Flocked Evie. You're going to get a Flocked Evie. MD's probably going to want to get a Flocked Evie. And yeah, especially at Hot Topic, great retailer. I had no problems with them ever. All right, so now moving on to what would be MD Shady's number 2. And that is the Funko Shop exclusive Wally Warhead from Warheads. Now, understandable that this pop also made MD Shady's list because if you know MD Shady well, if there is an ad icon that gets announced through the month, he's going to add that ad icon no matter what. And Wally Warhead, I kind of figured it would be in his top 5. I just didn't think it would be in his top 3 though. Wally Warhead, it does have quite a bit of detail, and I think it's still available as far as I know on the Funko Shop. So if you want to get a Wally Warhead, it's still up on the Funko Shop to order.
My number 2 is the Captain Crunch, the Funko Shop exclusive that was announced this month.
The 10-inch.
The 10-inch, yeah. I absolutely love the cereal, and I definitely understand why this is pretty hyped for anyone who's a fan of the cereal and absolutely loves it like I do. It had to make my top 10 list.
My number 2 is the WonderCon / Funko Shop shared Cheshire Cat Pop Rides. I think that pop is pretty great in detail. I'm very surprised about the amount of hype that it's gotten, and there hasn't been really any bad hype at all, because I don't think really any Disney pops get bad hype to begin with. The box, if you've seen the box, looks also great, very nice and colorful. Yeah, so now we're on number 1, in which I kind of figured this was going to be MD Shady's number 1. That is, from the Schitt's Creek lineup, it is Johnny Rose. MD loves the idea of a Eugene Levy pop and loves how they executed those eyebrows basically perfectly. And I know it's a pop he's going to get regardless of whether he's seen the show or if only seen like an episode or 2 of the show or a season, whatever. I know he's going to get this pop for the fact of a Eugene Levy Funko Pop rather than a Johnny Rose pop.
My number 1 is the WonderCon / FYE exclusive Flocked Pichu.
Ooh.
Again, like I mentioned earlier, more detailed than the Eevee in my opinion. The pink cheeks. Overall, of course, the yellow looks good. That's obviously the main color for Pichu and the rest of its evolution line. Well, I mean, besides Raichu being kind of a bit more darker, I guess, or orange. But other than that, again, very detailed, and there's no other way to put it as to why I picked Flocked Pichu as my number 1.
My number 1, and it's number 1 for so many reasons, is the Amazon exclusive Battle at Echo Base Wampa Pop Deluxe. This pop is so crazy good in detail. It's unbelievable. It's better than the original one they made, I think back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. It's got this cool base where it goes with the environment, which I'm liking that they're doing these with these Star Wars pops. The expression on the face, it's got a mouth. I'm a huge fan of when they put mouths on pops because you don't see mouths at all usually on like pops in general. The whole detail, my personal reaction because I like Star Wars, and the hype is just great. I don't think I've seen like any bad hype whatsoever. Maybe like a couple like, let's see this instead of this. But other than that, like no like, oh, this is garbage in detail, or I'm not gonna. A lot of people are like, I'm pre-ordering this. Top Pop said, oh yep, I'm pre-ordering it. Yeah, that's why the Wampa Pop Deluxe is at number 1 on my list. So that's going to be all we have for this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you press that like button to let us know that you're enjoying the content that's being provided to you guys on this channel, including this podcast and many other videos we do. Comment in the comment section below on what your favorite pop of the month is for March 2020. Did you like the Wampa like I did? Did you like the Pichu like Robbie voted? Did you like Johnny Rose? Let us know in the comment section below. Press that subscribe button for more content like this podcast and other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. But anyways, thank you all for listening to this podcast. and we'll see you guys next week. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Keep on popping.